Good morning to anybody that is inside the PJNC group. Cannot speak today. Can you tell I haven't had my coffee yet? Good morning. Let's start that again. And welcome back to another conversation about mastery of the middle. Today's conversation is personal for me. I was not honestly quite sure. I had several subjects that were lined up to that were potential to be spoke about today, but this one I decided at the last minute was the one that I needed to talk about, not necessarily for anyone else except for myself. And ultimately, there are days that the mastery of the middle conversations are seriously just for me. Now, with that being said, they're not just for me, they're for everyone. And that's why I've been doing this in Lee is that we're doing this to help everyone that is a female entrepreneur with their own journey relate to other people's stories, to see that it's not just them, and to not fall into the common pitfalls that we all have either personally gone through or have seen others go through, but that are consistent. So that's what we try to talk about. However, like I said, this one is a little bit more personal. I'll put it to you that way than an average one. And the reason it's a little bit more personal is because I am currently having to fight through this exact problem. Now, I'm going to talk about the problem, and then I'm going to also talk about one of the things that I do as a solution. I am currently going through a bit of stress on my body. Now, I have talked about in the past that I do have a health problem. It's autoimmune based, and it's part of the reason why I am an entrepreneur that works from home. I'm able to fulfill all my clients' needs and also grow my company, even if I'm having a bad day, because it's been several years of working hard to get myself going and then growing and building and everything that's necessary to scale a company. However, we all hit those points or those times where we are not at full capacity. And I had to work through of why. And I will tell you, I'm very, very grateful to one of the members in this group. I had a conversation with her yesterday, and she was able to help me process through a bit of it. And because of my health always being an issue, I have to worry about burnout in a different way. So I'm not talking about when we go through burnout, good morning, um, from the viewpoint of I just can't work anymore. I'm sick of what I've been working on. I am exhausted of this offer I'm working on, this company I'm building. I don't feel like it's right for me. I'm over it. That's absolutely 100% not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when we are on the path, we've been on the path for a long time, and we hit this time period that is a couple of years in. Um, and I will tell you consistently, with this being the second company that I have built back to back. Now, it's not the second company I've been involved with, in the building process, but back to back for myself, I should say. It's a all too familiar feeling. 15 years ago, start or 20 years ago, starting out my first company. So I went and I was building for 15 years with that company. I hit the same time period, and I remember it so well. And that time, though, I didn't have any online groups or accountability groups or education online for my specific industry. So the answer that I could come up with was work harder, which I did. But the thing that I learned from that was working harder was not always better. I will be the first to say that, but also to the fact that working harder doesn't always yield the best results. It's just sometimes working harder. So I've learned this from the first experience. I'm applying it now to this experience. However, I'm back in that oh so familiar feeling of I've been working very hard and I expect more results from myself every day. And there's a certain point you plateau. Every business does. And it's not that you're plateauing in work, it's not that you're plateauing in the outcome. It's just a rest period that we all hit in production. And I hope I'm adequately explaining this. It's kind of like you've been scaling a mountain and then you hit a spot that's flat enough for you to stop for a moment and say, okay, what else needs to be done? Assess my gear, assess my health, assess my conditions, whatever it may be. Those are the things I'm talking about. It's almost like hitting this little plateau and you're about to climb again, and you know you are, and you know what's up in front of you, and you're looking at it. But for the moment, you're frustrated because you're not there yet. And that was what I used 15 years ago when I hit this time period as well. Yeah, it was about 15 years ago from right where I'm at now. So that's about accurate. And when I started this company, when I decided to retire and close my first company, I will tell you that it is actually the beginning of March is the 3-year anniversary of my new life, my new process, my education, my everything that I have built in the last 3 years. 3 years ago in March would be the kickoff from that. And so I've been working at a very high level of, like I said, learning student mode, then going into action mode and building mode, and then scaling mode for 3 years. And again, just like last time, you get to a point where you know more than you can actually show. That's a good way to put it as well. And it's really difficult. And the thing is since I went through it before, I'm able to speak from it from a different perspective. Had I not gone through it before, I would probably be pulling my hair out right at the moment. But I stop and I reflect on the fact that everything that has been built is solid. Everything that has been built will continue to grow. Everything we have done to date, there's a reason for it, and it will come into play in the future, just like I did last time. So I'm handling it a lot better than I did last time, but I still don't like it. And I guess that's what it comes down to. And so my goal then for the rest of 2024 is scaling and building and retaining more students for our program and continuing to grow. But the other part of it is retaining my balance again. One thing that I did in that time period last time was to try and regain some balance. And I did that. I spent more time with my children. I was able to reassess my calendar, and I made a deal with myself that when I hit a certain spot, I would start blocking off time in my schedule that was consistent for my family. For example, I got to the point. Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw another comment and it stopped me in my tracks. You and I are similar timelines, and I hear you. Everything you're saying is 100% on point. Thank you for whoever said that. I apologize. On my end, it just shows Facebook users, so I apologize, but I will personally say thank you once I jump on Facebook after I'm done. But my point is that I have different goals set this time around to keep myself. Oh, Luba. Thank you, Luba. Oh my goodness. This is one of my favoriteest people. Thank you, Luba. And thank you for saying that this is exactly where a lot of entrepreneurs are at, but we just don't stop to think about it. Nor do we stop to say, hey, me too. So Luba, thank you for being brave and saying that, because it's so, so true that we all hit this time period. It is absolutely 100% a part of the process. But most people aren't brave enough to say, hey, guess what? I went through this. You're going to go through it too, because it can sound like weakness. And I'm here to tell everyone this is not a sign of weakness for anyone. This is a sign of strength that you are ready to take off to the next level. And there's always a quiet before the storm. And as Luba and myself are both telling you, this is normal. We are both going through it at the exact same time. And we're going to continue going through it. And we're not going to give up. But this is something that is a dedication and a lifestyle. And we're going through the lifestyle part. So as I was saying, is that I am making it a goal this year in particular to regain some of my balance back. For the first several years of building this company, it was easy for me to say, doesn't matter if it's a weekend, I'm just going to sit down and do a couple hours of work because my children aren't home. Or I know who to come to. And I get to that point. Yes, Lee, you are welcome to come to Luba, especially, or myself. I have a feeling that both of us are pretty good at the bad cop part, so we'll have to find the good cop for you as well when you hit this point, just because we've both been here and we both know what it feels like. So this year is going to be about balance. I have realized, and something that I have grown in is understanding how important our team is and relying on them. And I'm very grateful to say that I have no doubt when it comes to our team. Our team is everything. And in fact, I'm very proud to say this, that I have received the feedback from consultants and mentors outside of our company that they are thoroughly impressed with every member on our team, that they are blown away by the level of quality and compassion that each individual shows on our team. And I was over the moon. That was an incredible, incredible compliment to our team. And I love it. I absolutely love the fact that we do have an amazing team. So, where do I come into this conversation? Pretty simple. I've realized that by giving everyone room in the team to grow and to take accountability for their actions, to step up and do things when they need to be done on time, I am not going to be one, babysitting. I am not going to be mother hen. And also, it gives me the chance to step back and see how everybody's going to grow and blossom. It's been amazing. And in that process, I have seen where it went from being my vision now to being our vision. And that has just been such a beautiful process. It has been something that has been near and dear to me. And I love sitting back in a meeting and hearing somebody else saying, guess what we are going to do to impact the world? This is our mission. This is what Grit and King is going to do. We are going to accomplish this. And it motivates me in such a way that I don't think each person, when they say it, they actually understand how much it does, what it does for me, I should say, and how much it gives me back in return. So that is something that I want for every entrepreneur, especially female entrepreneurs in this group, to understand you are not doing it wrong. You are not on the wrong path. And a good little test, this is one of the two things. I said one, I'm going to sneak a second one in there. One of the two things that I encourage everyone when they are starting to get to this point to do, there is definitely going to be an evolution in the business that you build. What you start out with in day one is not what you end up with in 2, 3, 4 years. Hands down, will not be. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the test, my test. So my test is pretty simple. I do it every once in a while, especially again, when I hit these moments. Excuse me one moment. My stomach is actually growling on camera. I do apologize. I jumped up this morning and started getting things done and have not stopped to do my protein shake yet. So that's right after this. So please excuse the growling stomach. Okay, so my test. I've done this often. In fact, I did this week, and this was something that really assisted me. Again, our companies grow. So how do we know if it's a evolution or if we truly need to test if the path is right? Well, I go to my gut. I sit with it. I meditate, and I actually sit down and think, am I still on the correct path? Now, I'm looking for the no, that you're good, keep going. You don't need to think about that. That's what I'm looking for as an answer. However, I give myself the room to think about it. I give myself the permission to explore that conversation. And when I do, if I get that feeling that something is off, well, then I need to start going through and think, is my why not big enough? Is my mission not big enough? Is my ideal client off? Am I off? Am I missing my heading somehow, some way within all of these things that make up our heading? Am I missing something? I did this week. My answer was no. I'm still on my right path. And to take that a step further, my follow-up question to myself this week was, if I'm still on the right path, do I still feel like I am serving the right person? Am I still trying to affect the right individual in this world? And my answer was a clear, resounding yes. And I thought about it a step further, that if I wasn't on the right path, I would have to shift. I don't want to shift. That was the clue for me. I didn't want to shift and serve somebody else. Why would I want to serve another individual, meaning a different mission, which there are many out there and they're all important. But my personal mission is to help single moms become entrepreneurs. And uh, on top of that, to help individuals that are entrepreneurial minded become free of their corporate setting and become entrepreneurs. So if there's a lot of people left in that category and I still feel like I need to serve that category, I should not be shifting away from it. So that is something that I actually do on a regular basis, especially when I hit those moments where it's like, okay, I'm due for a breakthrough. I'm due for a push, a level up, getting off that plateau. But at the same time, you need to sit with it, recognize the gift in itself, that it is a time period for you to sit with it, for you to sit back, for you to go through and listen to your gut and to listen to the universe and anything else that you need to listen to. And I encourage you to, because that is the moment to sit with it and say, am I still serving the right one? Am I pursuing the right client? Do I need to evolve in my path, or do I need to just push and keep going on the same path? And I noticed I wanted to say push harder and I did not. Push. So there's a consistency there. So that's where I'm at right now. And again, I'm very proud to say I made it through last time. And last time, I can tell you, within my industry, I ended up making incredibly great money, better than the average. And I had my own facility that I built out, and I was able to call my own shots, and I was able to dictate when I worked and when I didn't. When I saw my kids, the days that they were with their father, I tended to work more so that the days they were home, I didn't have to work if possible. So I got to the point that I completely was in control of my time. I was able to take off the week before Thanksgiving and Christmas every year. I have always made it the goal is to be able to take a long family trip in January with my children. That is on the agenda for next year. So I am getting to those goals that I even set for the first time around now for the second time. So it's kind of cool that I'm able to see this process all over again. I wish you could take away the emotional frustration, but there's a point to that too. And that's something I wanted to remind everybody. So I've talked already for 17 minutes about that. I hope this was helpful. Luba is a wonderful, wonderful resource as well. So if you haven't gotten a chance to interact with her, I highly suggest that you do that. Lee, you are absolutely welcome. This is something I decided that everybody goes through. So that's why I wanted to address it. And it's easier for us to bottle this stuff up and not to talk about it. But this is exactly why we do this. And so I realized as I was making my coffee 2 minutes before I sat down to talk, that this is something I had to talk about, what I was going to speak about. And in fact, I even had my notes open right next to me and ready to talk about it. And I decided, no, it wasn't appropriate. So good news is I know what I'm talking about next Wednesday now. I'm going to be talking about my unstoppable statement. Now, I will let you know that Lee has one already as well. And we're going to talk about why an unstoppable statement is so critical when you are working for a team environment and how you are an individual. And this is something that we do as a team, and I will go into it further. This was a gift to us from our own personal mentor, our team mentor. So this is stolen from our team mentor and my personal business mentor of 20 plus years. But he gave us this assignment about a year ago, and I realized today it's time to revisit it and also to give this as a gift to the whole group because it's too good for me just to keep for myself. So next Wednesday, we will talk about our unstoppable statements. Boy, can't say that quickly. Okay, so please remember, Lee and I will be back on Friday. We have a beautiful guest that you have seen on our podcast, but she has yet to be on one of our lives with us. So we're very excited about that. And then we'll be back with a new live with Lee on Monday. And of course, a new podcast episode Tuesday. And then next Wednesday, I'll be back with the I am unstoppable statement that I think every female entrepreneur should have, possess, and revisit. So we'll set that up next week. So I hope everybody has an absolutely beautiful, beautiful day. I apologize for rubbing this in, but I cannot share this enough that it will be 78 here today. And as a family, we are going to our son's very first baseball practice with his team. And so we're incredibly excited about that. That's going to be this evening. And I am just so grateful that the weather is going to be so incredibly good, because that means I'm not going to freeze. So selfishly, I'm super, super grateful. Plus, how nice to sit out and enjoy being there for kids for baseball on a beautiful evening like this. Like, to me, can't get to that. To me, it can't be a better evening. So I'm very much looking forward to that. It is his very first practice with his new team, so he's excited. We are excited as well, and we will have some updates about that in the next couple of weeks. I'll share a little bit more about that. But I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Make sure you network through this group. There's so many amazing women in this group that are resources for you and your business. So make sure you take advantage of that. And I will see everybody back on Friday with Alethea. I hope everybody has an absolutely wonderful, beautiful, productive day that also includes processing and reflection to get to your next level. Have a wonderful day.